thoughts on being a female entertainer, female musician in a male-dominated, male-dominated space?
Yeah, it's hear me say it's be rough. It's be rough. Honestly, it's like I was just telling Daisy, I find even on some of the big shows, where you may have a budget to have like more artists, you would find like 10 male artists and like one female, and it almost comes off as like, if dancehall is the genre, we have all the male dancehall artists in, whether they're coming in from the region or abroad or locally, and then who's like the female artist that you would think of in dancehall, and then throw her in. Same thing with soca, and when backstage happens, because I look at everything, we tend to get overlooked. Females, we like a mirror. We like something fully covered, maybe a fan, because we don't want to sweat off the makeup. It's just simple things like that you would overlook because you're not thinking like a girl. But I feel if you would incorporate some of the, I know a lot of female chaperones and assistants that if you were to speak to them, they'll tell you, maybe make nice it up a little bit, put some flowers, a fruit platter, anything. But just those simple things sometimes people overlook. And if you were to do more of that and make it a little bit more female friendly, and it's okay to do it too. But yeah, book more female artists. Book them.
Well, let me speak from my personal capacity first. I would have, in the mid-90s, been the owner and manager of a reggae band called Black Amali, and I managed 3 artists, my company, Mystic Music Entertainment. So then I understood what it meant to be a woman in a male-dominated environment, because reggae music, as you know, is very male-dominated. I actually did not find it challenging because I had my reputation as an entertainment journalist behind me, so a lot of people knew me, and so it wasn't terribly hard to do what I needed to do from a management perspective. What I found was hard was the attitude of the people that I was working directly with. So from that perspective, the gender discrimination that is automatic in male-female relationships came into play. And so wearing my professional hat now, I would say that the biggest challenge that women in music face is that gender disparity ideology that still persists even though we don't like to admit it. It is the attitude of men in a male-dominated music environment to women who step up, can be perhaps even better or as good as them at producing, at managing, at directing, whatever. So I think it is the attitude, first of all. And then the second thing is the belief in women in themselves that they are as good as or perhaps even better than men at doing things like managing, because managing is a lot about nurturing, and women are natural nurturers. So if it is one thing I would hope that the Women in Music chapter does for Barbados, is to help women and young girls understand that they can do as much as or perhaps even more than men in music in Barbados.
Luckily, feeling like a female is feeling very powerful, but that's not the first thing I ever go into anything with. I know it's going to sound a little strange, but we wake up being phenomenal women, and you take on all kinds of roles that may have been deemed to male. So in my mind, I already have removed those labels, and it would be great if people could remove that label as well, and then see a character and see somebody's passion and drive, and not be the first thought like, oh, this woman is so pretty. I mean, I've had those experiences being a young entrepreneur, also being, trying to pursue your music from the independent outlook. People kind of look at you and they want to give you attention because you're pretty, but I guess I could say lucky to be a woman, because we could handle so much. So I feel powerful, and I feel confident now, even in the bad, let's put that in inverted commas, the bad, that something will definitely come out of it, because in case men didn't know, they need us. Like, there's nothing that could really happen without women, so the tide is gonna change.
When I started out back in 1995, it was much worse than it is now. we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. So when I first started off in Canada, it was very male dominated and very heavy sexual harassment. If you're a woman in the industry and you want to be mentored or whatever, you're not going to be taken seriously. And so you'll find women that came up during that time to be a little bit harder edged because they didn't want to do the batting of the eyelashes and the oh hun and all that kind of thing. You had to be come a bit harder because you wanted to be respected and you didn't want to give any doubt that you were about business. Because you have challenges, you don't just decide if it's something that you love to get into something else. I had men that were trying to sabotage me and telling companies not to sponsor and that sort of thing because they felt threatened. They thought that anything that was pro-female meant that it was anti-male. So that was a hard road to keep trudging through and pushing through. But I'm happy to say that we turned them around. We turned their attitudes around. And now they give us big respect. So it's great to see that level of growth. It's a much better time to be in the music industry, but it's still, I think, disproportionately a man's club in a lot of the more power positions in terms of who's controlling most of the money, the big record labels, that sort of thing.
I faced many challenges. One of them would be getting asked to do something for free or for sex. And then if you don't want to give into that, some of them would tell you, oh, they can't do that for you. And I've seen this happen with my own two eyes. It has never happened to me, that part. And then most producers in Barbados are males. And females, we have to go to them. And I've seen female artists go to them. But the males, they want something in return. Yeah? They would treat us as if we don't know a lot about the industry, as if we're not going to retaliate if something bad happens. We're not going to get as angry. So people walk all over us because they think we're not going to act angry or miserable, or we're going to fight for something that we want musically. There ends the scripture reading for today. Thank you.